Hai, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fadil bin Adnan. My number matrix is 23DLS20F20T3. I present landscape construction material and method. The title is bronze. Okay, this is a table of content. Table of content is first introduction of bronze, two type of bronze. Next is properties of bronze, advantage and disadvantage. Next is structures, and the next is uses, and the next is architectural bronze and composition of bronze, difference between bronze and brass, and the construction drawing, and the last conclusion. Okay, the first content is introduction of bronze. Introduction of bronze is in alloy consisting primarily of copper, usually with tin as the main additive. Two is bronze now refers to alloy of copper having elements of silicon, major edge, which may or may not have zinc. The third is the discovery of bronze enabled people to create metal objects which were better than previously possible. Next is tool, weapons, armor, and various building materials like decorative tile made of bronze were harder and more durable than their stone and copper procedures. And the next is entirety bronze was made out of copper and arsenic to form arsenic bronze. Okay, it was only later that tin was used, becoming the sole type of bronze in the late 3 millennium BC, and the last is tin bronze was superior to arsenic bronze in that the alloying in process itself could more easily be controlled, and the alloy was stronger and easier to cast. Also, unlike arsenic, tin is not toxic. The next content is type of bronze. The type of bronze is first, silicon bronze is a low lead based alloy made up of copper and a tiny bit of silicon. Aside from those two elements, it typically contains other alloys such as tin, manganese, iron, and zinc. It is now for its smooth-looking finish and resistance to corrosion. 2. Tin bronze alloy consists of copper-based material, with the major alloying element being tin. The presence of tin provides high mechanical properties. The offset being that the addition of tin adds to the metal cost. 3 is aluminium bronze, a type of bronze in which aluminium is the main alloying metal added to copper in contrast to standard bronze, copper and tin, or brass, copper and zinc. Okay, the next is properties of bronze. Property of bronze is bronze usually is a golden hard green metal. The properties depend on the specific composition of the alloy as well as how it has been processed. Here are some typical characteristics. The first is highly ductile. 2 is bronze exhibits low friction against other metal. And the third is many bronze alloy display the unusual property of extracting a small amount when solidifying from a liquid into a solid. For structure casting, this is distributable as it helps to fill a mold. 4 is brittle but less so than cast iron. The next is open exposure to air. Bronze oxides but only on its outer layer. The last is unlike steel, striking bronze against a hard surface would generate spark. This makes bronze useful for the metal used around flammable or explosive material. Okay, the next is advantage of bronze. Advantage of bronze, the first is it won't rust but it develop a pleasant patina over time. Two is corrosion resistance by forming porosity surface firm. Most copper alloy resists many corrosive environments. Third, withstand high temperature. Several millions and bronze alloy work well in elevated temperature environment. 4. Friction and wear. Copper alloy wear well against steel and are used in numerous bearing and components. 5 is good maintainability. In general, copper alloy are easy to making compared to steel. The second last is weldability. Is many grades can be weld. The last advantages is pressing and soldering. All grains of copper alloy can be brazed and soldered. Okay, the next is more express than steel. Brass more likely to crack under load. Uh, it is a heavy metal like copper. Bronze can develop a patina, a green film as a result along exposed to moist air. Bronze will deteriorate rapidly if exposed to moisture and chloride and sulfide. The last is bronze is susceptible to bronze disease, one of the most serious hazards of bronze. Okay, the next content is disadvantage of bronze. Disadvantage of bronze, like a copper, bronze can develop a patina, a green film, result of long exposure to moist air. Bronze will deteriorate rapidly if exposed to moisture and chloride of sulfate. Bronze is susceptible to bronze disease, one of the most serious hazards of bronze. Deterioration. Bronze has poor resistance to ammonia and ferric compound and cyanide. Dust can also eat into its surface. Acid embed dropping and concentration of chemical agents in animal exchange also add in corrosion and deterioration in shell areas of bronze work. A combination of sulfur and chlorine in a moist atmosphere is the most significant cause of deterioration. Bronze has poor resistance to ammonia and ferric compound of cyanides. And the last is a combination of sulfur and chlorine in a moist atmosphere is the most significant cause of deterioration. The next content is captures. Bronze is widely used for testing bronze sculptures. Common bronze alloys have the unusual and desirable property of expanding slightly just before they set, thus filling the finished detail of a mold. Then, as the bronze cools, it shrinks a little, making it easy to separate from the mold. The next is uses of bronze. Use of bronze is commonly used in ship propellers and submarines owing to its combination of toughness and resistance to saltwater corrosion. It is used to make hammer, mallet, winches, and other durable tools to be used in explosive atmospheres of in the presence of flammable vapors. The third is bronze is used to make bronze wool for woodworking application where steel wool will discolor white. The last is bronze has been used in the manufacture of various types of metal. Okay, the next content is architectural bronze. Architectural bronze is a competitive material. The advantage: noble, low bearing, instant weathering, low maintenance, easily formed, simple to process, recyclable. Color shade: the color scale of alloy range from gold yellow, tone yellow, bone to reddish brown. Outdoors bronze develop a neutral patina that varies from pale brown and green shades. The surface finish can be glossy or matte to intensify or mute the color effect to your aesthetic preference. The surface treatment is polishing something more green and shiny by rubbing. When an object is polished, it reflects a shiny gleam or glow, brushing and or short lasting. The next is composition of bronze. Bronze is metal alloy containing copper as the central element and tin is the second important element. Their percentage vary depending on the required properties, but most commonly it has about 20% of tin and 88% of copper. Their percentage slightly vary when other metals and non-metal compounds are added. Okay, the next content is difference between bronze and brass. The bronze is first harder, more brittle, to a melting point of 950 degrees Celsius. Excellent corrosion resistant for sustainable for some decorative applications such as the last is that made to 3500 BCE. For different of brass is first greater malleability to melting point of 900 degrees Celsius. The third is good corrosion resistance The fourth is more suitable for decorative application due to gold color. The last of different of brass is dates back to 500 BCE. Okay, the next content is contact shadowing. My contact shadowing is bills. It is contact shadowing. The bills. The bills metal in alloy of 80% copper with 20% tin using silicon bronze, which is 4% silicon, 1% manganese and copper balance. This alloy is used almost universally in outdoor sculpture, marine hardware and naval builds. The second last content is what is the importance of bronze. The importance of bronze is a historically sufficient metal to the development of human civilization. The low melting point of the tin and copper used to create bronze alloy allow it to be worked on before iron was a feasible option. The hardness of bronze is also higher than wrought iron, allowing better tools to be made. The last content is conclusion. The conclusion is bronze replaced stone as the best material for making tools. People were able to build better farming equipment and they also began to make bronze weapons and jewelry. When people did, they were brilliant with their most important position. People stopped using stone to make tools and weapons and used bronze instead. This is because bronze is much more durable and stronger and stone was. Bronze enabled people to invent lots more and have better weapons and tools.